Hello, and thanks for joining us on your channel of choice at this time, Africa Independent Television AIT. Welcome to this very special interview series. Uh, my name is Benga Aruliba. We are back to the River State Government House where we started this special interview series some weeks back. And so this morning we are back here, and let me at this stage welcome our special guest, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, His Excellency, Chief Yeso Ezebo Wike. Your Excellency, welcome to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benga.
Thank you so much. Sorry for the little delay. Just trying to be sure that our viewers can hear and see us perfectly. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes. It was just a couple of weeks ago or so that we started this interview series, and I'm sure you know that in the life of a nation like Nigeria, even 24 hours means so much. A lot would have happened. And since that time and now, a lot has happened. Preparations for the Edo and Ondo governorship elections have resumed in full gear. I mean, for your political party, for instance, not only were you able to conduct a successful primaries in Edo State, but you also completely weathered all the storm. A lot of people had thought that it would be difficult for you to be able to conduct a successful primaries. But you played a major part in all of that. Let's start with that. And of course, the fact that the man you have as a candidate, probably you couldn't have sought for a better candidate.
In which of the states?
Let's start with Edo.
Well, I'll give God the glory that PDP was able to conduct a free and fair primary in the two states, particularly as it relates to Edo State, where all the aspirants came together to say, look, we have met, we have agreed, and we want the incumbent governor, Godwin Obaseki, to continue and withdrawing their ambition to say, we have all withdrawn, we want him to be the sole candidate or the sole aspirant for that primaries, and which turned out to be so. And then today, he is the candidate of the People's Democratic Party. It is not easy for you to have a sole person contest an election that people thought would be very, very problematic.
Particularly on a very viable political platform.
Yes, and they're coming from another political party. But we weather the storm. And that's what I said, that there will be sacrifices people must make in order, if you believe, if you are committed in the party's growth, then there's no sacrifice that is too much for you to make. And so, for me, the winners of that primary, as regards to those aspirants who withdrew for the governor to be the sole aspirant and eventually became the candidate of the party. So we're very happy and we're prepared for the election. As regards to Ondo, it was very contentious, and you can see that the deputy governor, who came in from APC, contested the election, and by the grace of God, the former candidate of the party, Jogene SM, won the election. You can see how keenly contested it was. So, like we said, Nigerians' hope is now dependent on how PDP comes out with their programs and how they conduct their affairs, because obviously it is the party to beat in 2023.
Unlike in Edo, in all those states, you still have a lot of reconciliation to make, because some of those who contested the primaries have actually not embraced the olive branch that the party has been waving since after that primaries.
Well, I think that, yes, that may be possible, but again, before going through that election, you be assured that the party will do everything to reconcile all the aggrieved.
We still have a lot
so I think the leadership of the party at the Southwest will take the bull by the horn to make sure that things are done properly, and at the end of the day, I believe we will not have problems. Just like what we did in the south side, particularly as it relates to Edo. The leadership of the party, in fact, the chairman of the Governors Forum, south side, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, did all he could to make sure that all of us are on the same page, and that was the result we got. And today we're happy about it. I believe the same thing will happen in Ondo State.
Your colleague in Oyo State has actually been leading a lot of reconciliatory efforts in that regard. But let's get back to Edo. Not only did you play a major part in how the whole thing went smoothly and all of that, but we have also been given a very major task. A lot of people will probably not accept that kind of daunting responsibility at this particular time, that of leading the party to the election as the chairman of the campaign council. Don't you think that that's too much of a burden that you just willingly accepted?
Well, there's nothing that's too much. Like I said, if a party gives you responsibility and you're a total party person, no responsibility given to you will be too much for you. And so, for me and members of the campaign council, we gladly accepted it. And it's very interesting. It's something we've been used to it. So it's not a new it's not a new area that you can say that you are not used to it. So we were very happy. I'm very happy, particularly, to lead our campaign. And the result we are getting, obviously, is overwhelming. It's not a question of propaganda, but if Nigeria wants democracy and want to move this country forward, it's obvious that with the work Obaseki has done in Edo State and what we're doing now, obviously, we believe that we will coast you home to victory. So for me, it's a good challenge for me. Particularly, it's a state in the south that, like we have said before, we want all of us to be together, and we'll do all we can within the law to make sure that all of us are together. Yeah. So it's not.
The campaigns have started actually.
Yes.
You were at the flag off of the campaign.
Yes.
And then you also visited the palace of the paramount ruler of Benin Kingdom, the Omonoba. Two very parallel receptions you got there. The one you got outside the palace, and then the one you got inside where you met with the monarch. Does that settle worry about what will likely happen during the campaigns?
No, first of all, we received a good reception at the Oba's Palace, and there was no bad reception. In fact,
inside?
Yes.
Before outside?
So I'm from there, I get to the outside.
Okay.
Where, first of all, I must thank the Oba of Benin for receiving us very well. He did receive us very well with his chiefs in his kingdom. And we appreciate, and then we believe that there's no one can wear a flag of campaign without paying respect to traditional institution. Somebody is in charge of that place traditionally, and so we said, look, we're here, and we want you to give us the permission to go and hold our campaigns, which he did. Now, as regards to what happened outside, and like I said, in politics, so many things happen. When we were coming to the palace, we saw some hooligans at the gate of the palace chanting, oh, Obaseki is this and that. These are things expected. These are things done, and like Obaseki said, he doesn't want violence, right? He doesn't want violence. And it is not as if we cannot match with that violence. But he said, look, I'm not a man of violence, I don't want violence. And so, we allowed them freedom, and they were all making noise. We entered the Oba's place and came out, and we left to the campaign ground. But like I said, nobody has the monopoly of violence. Nobody. Nobody has the monopoly of violence. The governor and his team in the state could have as well immediately. We do. It's not as if we do. But we didn't want to say, look, don't send anybody, allow them. Let them be saying, it's part of politics. It's part of politics. All we are saying, we don't want violence. So nobody stopped us from seeing the Oba. Nobody. When you go and give some hooligans some 10 naira, 20 naira, 1,000 naira, I was immediately they finished and they left. When one was left, and they left. They've made their money, and that is so that is part of employment. They say they will create. It's unfortunate, you know. So a many from job, all of them left. You can't even believe it. Those of them who were at the gate when we were leaving started following us. I was saying 4 + 4 8, 4 + 4 8. The same people they hired
became recruits to your own side.
So it's very funny. It's very funny. That tells you the interesting part of our political system, the way we play our politics. It's very interesting.
2 months ago, probably, if somebody had told you that your party, the PDP, will probably be having things easy the way they are now in Edo State, you probably would have doubted it. Because I said easy because here your candidate is not somebody who needs to be telling people, I will do this or I will do that. He's been in the saddle for 4 years. So it's probably a question of, I have done this and I will do more.
Yeah.
I'm right?
Yes.
Beyond that, elections were held 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we saw the campaigns then.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said that the situation as they were 4 years ago is what they are today. It's just that the candidates have changed camp. But there were issues that were thrown up 4 years ago during the campaigns that will probably come back now. Echoes of the past that will probably ring loud and probably louder than they were 4 years ago during the campaigns. Perhaps we should start from there. Let's take one of such echoes from the past, and then I will ask you what your reaction to that will be.
Okay, all right.
And we are liable if we say anything that is libelous. I bear full responsibility in my personal capacity. I waive my immunity. I set my immunity aside. And I declare as follows before God that the other guy, Mr. AJ Yamu, he has a very interesting lifestyle. He went to school. He finished his primary school. I haven't seen the testimonial, but he finished. He then went to University of Benin to read law. 2 years later, he was rusticated. For 2 years, they drive him from school. Why? He carried acid and pour on the body of another student. Today, that student is deformed for life. His manhood has been destroyed. Today, he cannot raise a family. That is his credentials. And that is why he could not go to law school. That is why, although he read law, he is not a barrister. Now, because of crisis of identity, he went to carry a Bible and said he's a pastor. I am born again. I am born. It's okay. The sin is committed. He has to continue to pray for that. Then, somehow he got out of Unibank. Not a barrister. He has to carry pastor. All right. But you remember Pastor King? Pastor King. How many people killed? He's sentenced to death now. So to carry Bible, it doesn't give a clue about who you are. Only God knows who is a Christian. We somebody say hallelujah. By their action, we know who is a Christian, who is a Muslim, who is a pagan, who is a Kabbalist, who is a cultist, who is an honest man, and who is a gentleman.
But the truth cannot be hidden. And though people trusted him, they voted for him. The kind of money that has come to this state in the past almost 8 years, that money has never come before. From the time of Midwest to Bendel and to the period before he came in Edo, if you add all the money together, it's not up to what Adam Shomole collected. Shomole has gotten over 1.4 trillion in the past 7.5 years. What has he done with it? It's not by insulting Pastor Yamu or by insulting Chief Aneni. Only recently in the Catholic Church, he met Chief Aneni, and on the altar, he apologized to him and said, "Please forgive me." But days after again, days after, he's abusing Chief Aneni again. Will God forgive such a person? Will God forgive him? He says, Pastor Yamu is bad. Pastor Yamu is useless. When he appointed Pastor Yamu as DG, he didn't know Pastor Yamu was bad. When they made him national vice chairman of his party, he didn't know he was bad. Now Pastor Yamu has left him. He says he's bad. Who is a fool? Oshamale. Who is a fool? The truth about it is that this man has embezzled the resources of our states. I welcome Adam Oshamale to probe the time I was in government. Look for everything I did. Let him do it. Because by the grace of God, when I'm governor, I will probe him. I will probe him. Every couple that has come to Edo State, he will account for it. That is his fear. That is why he cannot longer sleep. And that's why he's talking like somebody who has gone mental. The fear of being caught. One day for the thief, one day for the...
Your Excellency, that, like I said, that was one very loud echo from the past. That was from the campaigns of 4 years ago. Yeah. The the APC campaign, and then the PDP campaign. Yeah. Unfortunately, the man being described there was your candidate that time, was a candidate of your party that time. Yeah. Today is a candidate of the other side. You saw how the campaign went then. What's your reaction to? Because a lot of people are saying these are the issues that will define this the present campaign.
Yes. And that is why you see all kinds of characters in politics. It's unfortunate. Look at the two characters. And look at a man taking oath in the name of God. In the name of God. In the name of God. Right? That this man was educated from university. That this man a fake pastor. And all kinds of things. The same man now says, look, the same person is talking. At the altar, sought for forgiveness from Chief Anini. Then after some days, he was still abusing the same man he sought for forgiveness. But now, let us ask ourselves a question. Are you telling me that you want to insult on the intelligence of Edo people? You came and took oath in the name of God that this man is this. Then you now come back to the same Edo people. Look, this man is the man I'm bringing to you. Then the same man that said Oshomola was this is now his candidate. Now where comes integrity?
How does he unsay what was said 4 years ago?
Unfortunately, he cannot. All he has told people is that, look, if I read from the Nation for this morning, when he said they should forget about what he said in the past. What is past? What is history? History is the past, the present, and the future. It is the past that will determine or will tell us what kind of person you are. Have you told Edo people, this thing I said, all those things I said are not correct to deceive Edo people? And now you are telling them this. Who knows? Who tells you that in 2024 he will not come and tell Edo people again, look, that thing I said in 2020 is not correct. You play on the intelligence of people. You think Edo State, a respected state beneath kingdom that people revere so much, you just come and tell them a story of all the learned of all the intelligent people there, professors, senior advocates. You want to use politics to deceive them. This morning you come, you tell them this. In the night you come, you tell them a different thing. I mean, for once, Nigerians must know enough is enough for politicians who continue to deceive them. It is their past that will know what will be. If a man like this can say this, and the same man now is bringing the candidate, he told Edo people that the man was educated for university because of cultism, that the man poured acid
on the fellow student,
on a fellow person, or a fellow student, and today that man had lost his manhood, according to him. He's the same man that poured acid that made his fellow man to lose his manhood, that you are presenting to Edo people now to vote for. I mean, it is embarrassing. Even we can sit down in this country, and when people talk about politicians, oh, that's how they are. I don't agree with that. There are people who don't have integrity. In fact, if not because of power, I do not believe that Ezi Yamu can even go back to Shimole for Shimole to even present him. You know, somebody said you're a fake pastor. I know to crown it all. And that's why we say, somebody takes money. No. This is the highest level of corruption. He mentioned that the chairman of this anti-corruption crusade, Professor Issei Yege, was the chairman of the panel. And up till now, is the Professor Sage, who always comments on every issue in this country, has not been able to come out to say, yes.
Would you say, with the benefit of it was actually good that there was no reporter at that time? Because if there was a reporter, you probably would have an uphill task now to unsaying what you probably would have said that time.
What, you know,
but this one, probably if you listen to it,
yes,
then you may be able to have an informed response to it.
Okay.
So let's take it.
For me, it's over. Those who are contesting today, I saw them now. I shouldn't say it loud. But when you are moving from EFCC cell to campaign table, from campaign tray to EFCC cell, to a courtroom, to a bail, Abba, Edo people, we be mumu? We be mumu? Una go vote for best way man that they call? Best day for bail, una go vote for her? So for me, God has already fought for us.
Those things were said against your candidate, and they probably went along with influencing the minds of Edo people. Today is not your candidate.
Like I said, as at the time we made him a candidate, we never knew of these facts. It was when the campaign started that these issues started coming up. And that time it was too late. That no more, you cannot have, the time for substitution was over. So when the facts started coming up, all you need to do was to do control damage. Now, Edo people rejected him based on these facts. Now look at what the Shomole said. The same man is still in EFCC. I told Edo people, Honorable Mumu, Honorable foolish people. Now, the same man is talking about is what he's not presenting. So I would not ask question. Do you not think Edo people are the fools or the foolish people?
Or they forgotten what was said 4 years ago.
They forgot. That's why he's saying they should forget what he said yesterday. What makes a man is to stand by what you said yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You don't play on intelligence of people. The same man that you said, APC, said that, look, this man run from one court to the other. Is a EFCC corruption cases. See this. Would they vote for him? No. No. The same man, you are not presenting him now as your own candidate. So, Edo people, are they Mumu people? Edo people, are they foolish people? You can imagine one man telling the other people, this man is an armed robber. Don't vote for him. Edo will listen to him. The Hina brought the same armed robber tomorrow. I mean today. Say, okay, vote for him. But he has not told Edo people he's no longer an armed robber. All he said, forgive me. Forgive me for what? Have you now told us that the man is no longer an armed robber? And then you bring the same armed robber to Edo people, to now, you one man. So it has gotten to the level that in Edo State, one man will tell Edo people, look, this man is an armed robber. Discountenance him. Don't do anything with him. Tomorrow, you come and bring the same man. Take him. First of all, you need to deny that what I said was not correct. You're not an armed robber. You have not done that. Is that this candidate or this candidate, one of the traditional institutions I respect so much is the Benin tradition. People. Look at where the Oba comes from. You tell them you present an armed robber to them, a cultist to them, a fake pastor to them. That will be the height of it all. Nobody takes that. Even if we mean nothing, it's not for you to come and tell us we are nothing. That's the highest insult anybody can take. In fact, I'm even surprised that I will see him kneeling down before the Benin traditional rulers. I mean, I can't believe it. That, what are you kneeling down? You are bringing back the same armed robber.
But it's politics.
It's not politics. I don't agree with you on that.
I say politics because if we use the example of what happened at the national level,
Yes.
General Muhammadu Buhari had contested elections 3 times before 2015.
Yes.
And lost.
Yes.
Yet,
Yes.
2015,
Yes.
Nigerians decided to vote for him against.
Did anybody say that Muhammad Buhari, take for example, did any president then say Muhammad Buhari was an armed robber?
That was why they didn't vote for him in those days.
Yeah, and then the same president brings him now back to vote for him. Did anybody say Muhammad Buhari is a cultist? Did anybody say so? Nobody said that. Nobody said that. First of all, a sitting governor said, this candidate, I refuse to give him position because I cannot trust one hand. Now you want to put Edo people's money in his hand now. And then you tell me that is politics. Do you know, assuming the man now, the wife never knew he was a cultist. Through Oshomole, the wife never knew the man was a cultist. The wife never knew that the man poured acid on a fellow student. Through Oshomole, the wife is aware. The wife never knew, probably, that the man was intoxicated. Through Oshomole, the wife never knew. How do you tell your children? How do you reconcile it? So you want to tell me because of politics, you overlook this and go and put your vote? It's not possible. That's why I said, Obaseki has no problem. He has no problem. The campaign has been done for him. You cannot insult people and have it. If someone was somebody who had integrity, he doesn't even need to go and touch Eziamo. So from what I'm saying, this man will do better. Right? It would have even been easier for them. But go and bring the armed robber. You said, go and bring somebody that was going for university to go and bring a fake pastor, according to him, to Edo people, the highest insult anybody can receive. So for me, it has been made easier for us. I don't even want to talk about achievements of Obaseki. On moral grounds alone, for those who have conscience, there's no way you can vote for Easy coming from Oshomole. For Oshomole even, I would have hidden. I wouldn't even come out. So I let it not be, because your past must haunt you. Whatever you said, whatever you did, people say, but this was what you told us. Now, if you are saying we should not believe what you said that time, how will we not believe what they are telling us now? How will we believe it? So, what you are saying yesterday, what you said yesterday, you said, no, don't believe me. Now, today, we should believe you. Tomorrow, you come again and tell us, forget about what I said yesterday. What kind of characters are that?
Edo State is probably one state where the opinion of the so-called leaders, were politically called godfathers,
Yes,
go a long way in influencing the minds of the people. And in this particular election, we also want to see how far the opinion of those godfathers will influence this election. Here again is what Governor Adams Oshomole, then as governor, city governor, but campaigning against the PDP. Here's what another thing he said against Pastor Ise Yamu, who today he now has the burden of marketing to the same Edo people. And I'm wondering whether, what the reception will be like if they listen to him that time. Don't you think that if he comes again to them this time and said, I made a mistake, that chances are that they will still also listen to him because of the influence people like him have on the people. But let's listen to it first.
Okay.
And then I will allow you to respond to the question.
I never gave him government job. Other people that I trusted, like Charlie Temple, I made him special advisor. But for Yamu, I kept him busy, let him be holding midnight meeting, which is used to. It is not a mistake. When he begged me to make him the director general of my campaign, because he tried to fight Okaku, and he said I should not run with Okaku, and I said I will run with him. Now ask him, since he was DG, why didn't I appoint him back to government? Kodima die, Kodima bury. I didn't want to spend my time watching his files, so I kept him busy, let him be holding midnight meeting where he can tell lies as many times as he can till daybreak. While he's telling lies, I am busy running government. Will somebody say hallelujah? Hallelujah. Because if I did not do that, he would have done to me what he did to Lucky. And you are aware, it's a common saying in Benin that Lucky's mother, and God bless her, Lucky's mother was reported as slapping Ezeyamu for misleading his son. But what could the woman do? He had already engraved himself. But he tried it on me. We kept him away. Nothing near government cycle. No access to public fund.
The relationship between Pastor Ezeyamu and Oshomole was so high at that time. It just finished Oshomole's re-election campaign. So they were very close. Now, the question I asked before we took that clip was, views expressed close to him that time, closeness to him probably made the people to believe him. If he comes today and says those things that time didn't matter, or I said them in a fit of anger.
First of all, it has to do with those who will accept. The people are not fools. He refused to allow him to have access to funds because you don't trust him. And he even referred that the mother of the former governor of Edo State, Lucky Ibenado, had to slap him. And
all of that for your
to report. Look at the building there. Without a dime of government funds. It was Godwin, 2 years.
corporate social governance.
Is a friendship and with others that built that. In fact, that building should be called Godwin Obaseki's building. The capacity to create wealth for the people. Oshobuno said so. Yamu does not have the capacity. Yamu cannot say he has capacity. Let Yamu say this was what he did when he was in government. And the man is coming back. Let him tell us the capacity now. Has. Tell Edo people. Find a knife, cut his neck. That, you see, I've told you what my grandmother told us. When a madman flocks you, don't run. As he flocks you and you are running, the madman continues to chase you. But if the madman flocks you, you flog him back. Right? The madman will run. Because he now sees the pain. Because you cannot intimidate people. You cannot. You can't. That you have monopoly of violence. No, you cannot do that. Not in the election, some of us are involved. No way, we will not accept that. We will not accept it. Nobody will cut any PDP man's hand and go free. We will not allow that. So all we have said, we want peace. We want a free and fair election. But that does not mean you go and kill a PDP person and then you think all we should do is to report to police. No way. No way.
Before now, there had been allegations against you that the real reason why the PDP is entrusting you with the leadership of the campaign is because you are from a peculiar background.
Yes.
Somebody who has had to go through 2 turbulent election cycles.
Yeah. No. But yes, I do not want to disagree to that.
You are battle ready.
No. You see, this country, you must understand this country very well. We couldn't have been where we are today. Look, the forces came. No election. The number of security men we have had, helicopters, dogs, I say we're in a war. Even the rerun of the National Assembly election, everybody knew what happened. Now look at even my own governorship election, 2019. You saw the soldiers. You saw what happened. Now, if our people were cowards, if our people did not say, look, we also are here, what would have happened? So if we believe, because we are peaceful, then they come and carry all the materials and go to Body Camp, the 6th Division, and write results finish. Then they go to INEC, just the INEC people, then they announce the results. Then you tell me to go to court, to the tribunal. Is that what you tell me? I should go to the tribunal. I mean, who does that? Nobody does that.
So that's not the template that you are prescribing for
we are prepared for peaceful election. Okay. But being peaceful does not mean you should kill me. That's the point I'm trying to make. Being peaceful does not mean you should kill me. I have a right to defend myself. I have a right to protect my own life. You cannot say an armed robber comes to your house, then you have a gun, then you say you leave the armed robber. Nobody does that. Nobody, no law, nobody can hold you responsible that you shot an armed robber. You have a right to protect your life. So if now you go and arrange, like we have seen from that video, telling the talks, the cultists on what to do. Now we are aware. This is what they want to do. Not that we had, not that we are told. Everybody has watched it. Let the government come and deny that he was not the one. And security agencies will not call him to say, how could you have done this? Why are you planning violence? And that's sometimes I do not know whether they bring this into the attention of Mr. President. Because Mr. President cannot see this and still want to support such a candidate for election, a candidate that wants violence, A candidate that bringing countries to kill? A candidate that encouraging people to violate the Electoral Act by people moving from one polling unit to the other and even going beyond to other wards?
Are there things that happened in 2016, then he as the candidate of your party, that you think the party can still adopt for the purposes of this election?
Well,
in terms of strategy and tactics.
Well, that strategy, it's not for me to disclose our strategy. It's not for me to do that.
But we just saw one.
You know, that's what
because
I'm saying.
This would probably mean that this wasn't the first time.
No.
This
we didn't
be the
know.
first time that this was the
No,
template.
it was not correct. We didn't know. Okay, assuming
this was the template it was.
Assuming that was the template it did. Assuming, though not conceding, because we didn't know. It is when things begin to unfold, you begin to find out the true characters of people. In the first place, how would I have imagined that a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God will sit down with cultists and talks on how to disrupt the election? How would anybody imagine that? And that's what I give credence to what the sermon said. Well, no true pastor, indeed, would allow himself. What is power? Power is for you to use to enhance the living standard of people, the betterment of people. It's not for you to use to kill people. When a pastor now is involved because of power, wanting to be in power, telling people, do this, move from your unit, go to the other unit, move from that unit, go to the other ward.
He said it's operation show your result.
That is the point I'm making. So as you can bring it, you have good thing. You see, now, for Christ's sake, what is this Commissioner of Police doing? What the Director of Officers doing? What are they doing? How can you say this video and you allow it? You cannot invite a candidate. You mean you did this? Look at the insurgency we have today in the country. Look at the banditry. Look at the problems everywhere. Now, as you have planned this now, PDP goes back to plan this. What do you think will happen to the poor people of Edo State? Is it not violence everywhere? People will die. Is it not? And APC every day will come and tell the same Nigerians that they are here for peaceful election.
Would you also be raising these issues maybe during your campaigns as you go from community to community? Maybe raise these issues with community leaders?
Yes, we have told because all the campaigns were devoted to sales and this. Yes. We've told them, like the governor said that day in the campaign. He said, don't retaliate, no violence, no this. But I have disagreed with the governor on that.
How so?
Yes, I did. I said, Mr. Governor, you are here to protect people's lives. The day they kill any PDP person and nothing happens, you demoralize everybody. Therefore, I will not head a campaign where our people will be killed. I will not head a campaign. I will not do that. If anybody kills anybody, if anybody causes harm to anybody, in fact, you come and tell me, in fact, my own policy here is that if anybody attacks you, you report to me, I will walk you out.
What should happen? What should the person do?
So you can't protect your life? What does the person want me to do? You don't have the security agencies. You report to them, what will happen? They won't do anything. Because they are party too. They will look at the other side. And that was why I said here, I have told the governor, make sure that the CP and the head of SSS carry out a thorough investigation of this matter. Yes, they may not want to do anything. Yes, they may look the other ways, the other side. You've done your own part, but you must protect your people. You must protect your people. But whatever means is you have to protect your people. That's why when I tell people in Rivers, I took an oath to protect the life and property of the people of the state. And that was why when one of our daughters were being, in the all hours of the night. Whether they are police or anybody. Because you know these days, people can wear police uniform and come and abduct you. They kill you. Police will announce, no, they are not police people. That they will investigate the matter to the later. Nothing will happen. So nobody takes that risk. Nobody does that. You don't take that risk. Nobody does it.
Okay. Just a few more things on the Edo election, and then we'll conclude on local politics. After all politics are local.
Yeah.
Let's just conclude on the Edo issue.
Yeah.
Two quick things. First is the issue. Not too long ago, I think just a couple of days ago, we saw people decamping from your side to the other side. These are people who have worked with the governor for like 4 years and decamping at this time. That sends a signal out there that the governor is probably not enjoying the support of all the aides that have worked with him for the past 4 years, and that probably gives a lot of fillip to the campaign of the other side.
Yeah. Now, it's very unfortunate. These are appointees. These are people Oshomole sponsored. You remember the governor has said this time, I'm a governor, but not a governor. Appointments are made by Oshomole. Those to run election, even his own local government was brought by Oshomole.
Yeah, because some of those wards were actually from the
governor's from the governor's ward. Now, what happened? They told them, don't resign in mass. Resign from time to time to show that the governor had lost grip of the people. It's not correct. Remember, when Dixon had his second tenure election, people were resigning even a day to the election. Commissioners were resigning. It has no impact. How many assembly members, councillors? 14 out of 100 or something. Right? Those people who are now resigning, they are the appointees. Oshomole kept them there. And the governor had read this alarm before. It will continue. It's a strategy. It's a strategy. So look, for me, and I would have told the governor, look, I cannot keep, I won't make that mistake. The moment I know that I and Oshomole have no relationship again, I would sack everybody that has anything to do with Oshomole. I don't care what anybody says. No, I have no relationship. And as a politician, you must know that this is what they will do. So you don't need to even stay a second to leave them. Even if I discover 2 days to the election period, and I know you have something to do with somebody, I will sack you. Heaven will not fall. In fact, heaven will be at peace. Heaven will be at peace. So why would he allow Oshomole's appointees to still be in his government? Why?
Okay.
So these are things they have. It will continue to happen.
Okay.
If it does not discover them now, it will continue to happen. Okay. But that has nothing to do with Edo people saying this is the end of God-fatherism. The subject matter of this election is God-fatherism or not. The title, the subject matter of this 2020 election is will God-fatherism remain or not in Edo State? That is all.
All right. The other issue, of course, has to do with this is the first election that Nigeria will probably be having in a pandemic.
Yeah.
So everything is new normal. The campaigns, the elections, and everything. I'm just wondering what kind of strategy or model you will be using for the campaigns, because we are no longer likely to be seeing all the campaign fanfare, people in Ashoebi going for one campaign rally or the other, and all of that. So
it will be wrong for me to review what our strategy is.
But we have 53 days.
But all we know,
days to do
in whatever strategy we have adopted, all we know to follow the protocol as related to COVID-19 pandemic. But I wouldn't tell you what strategy we have adopted, because that would be to selling out our strategy to the opposition, to the other party. So we will not do. But whatever strategy we have adopted, we have taken into cognizance the protocols as it relates to COVID-19 pandemic.
And you'll still be able to sell your ideas to them.
Of course, it's going everywhere, but we don't want to tell you this is what, because you see, the people do not have anything to sell because they have demarcated their candidate, or if he's a candidate, supposed candidate, they have demarcated him. They have demarcated him. They said he's a fake pastor. They said he's a cultist. They said he poured somebody acid. That's to attempt to kill, attempted murder. They said they cannot trust him with money. So this is like the corridors of the public domain. It's in the public domain. So we are telling the people, Obaseki will continue. In fact, look, that Obaseki refused Godfatherism. It's even enough reason for the people to still vote for him. Because Godfatherism has killed Nigerian politics, governance in this country.
All right.
So that alone, that you refuse to be led sheepishly when we gave you the mandate. You know, the most annoying thing now is when Oshomole go to say, forgive me, I gave you. Oshomole had only one vote. You see the arrogance. He does not care about people's vote. People voted for Obaseki. He is now as if he did it. He gave him. Forgive me, I gave you. The people voted for Obaseki. And that's why the people will still vote for him now to say, continue what you are doing. The mere fact that you refuse Godfatherism will vote for you. So our state can move forward.
All right, last question on Edo has to do with, I noticed in the course of my research that the candidacy of the APC appears still a subject of litigation. Why is the PDP still caught against Obaseki? I mean, against Pastor Ezra?
Well, I am aware, and I was told, I'm aware that the PDP went to court. Because you see, time has come that we have to test some of these laws. Time has come to show, to test the independence of the judiciary. It's not merely stating that the judiciary is independent. No. We will only know how independent is judiciary by the adjudication, by the interpretation of the laws of the land, particularly the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act provides that every party shall hold primaries. Every party. They didn't say some parties will hold primaries. They say every party shall hold. And the INEC must witness those primaries. Remember what happened in Zamfara State. Because there was no primary in Zamfara. That was why APC lost the entire seat. There was no primary. Luckily again, there was no primary of APC in Edo State. There was no primary.
How so?
I mean, the national chairman of the party, as it then was, Chief Victor Giadom, wrote to INEC that there will be no primary on 22nd of June. On the 22nd of June, that there will be no primary. That he will communicate to them when a new date for the primary will be fixed. So which of the primaries now that INEC witnessed on 22nd? Which of the primaries that was conducted that INEC now witnessed? There cannot be an application of the laws differently for different parties. It was because the Electoral Act provided that parties must hold primaries, and we have complied in holding primaries. That is why we produce a candidate. APC never had any primaries to produce a candidate. So why would INEC apply the laws differently by taking us to the rigors of holding primaries and allowing APC not to hold primaries? So how? So we believe it should be tested. We believe so. Because
so is the strength of the letter that Chief Victor Giadom wrote to INEC that you want to test in court?
Not even this time. There was no primaries for INEC to witness.
Yeah.
Just like there was no primaries in Zamfara that INEC witnessed. There was no primaries. And there's no way anybody can regulate out of this. You cannot subject PDP based on the provisions of the Electoral Act to hold primaries. And then you will not apply the same law for APC to hold their own primary. There was no primary. based on the letter written by the chairman of the party as then
Recognized by
Victor,
court.
not recognized by court. He was one who even convened the NEC meeting, and he wrote to INEC. He was the one who convened the NEC meeting. So if the chairman who convened the NEC meeting said, look, there will be no primaries on the 22nd, and then on 25th, they said they have ratified the primaries. Which of the primaries? Which day did they hold that primary? Which day? So we believe that INEC cannot and should not apply different rules and different laws to different political parties. Okay.
So that's the case that is still in court.
Yes, so people want to. People say, no, you cannot participate. Who said?
Is it at the Court of Appeal now? Or
no, it's still at the High Court, the Federal High Court. So what we are saying is that, look, the laws, every party must comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act. Every party. There should not be any discrimination. INEC cannot make PDP to pass the rigors of primaries. Then say APC will not pass, the same law will not be applied to them to pass the rigors of a primary. No, they must. So having not done any primary, how can that not produce a candidate? How? How can that be a candidate?
All right, let's end now because we are rounding up in just a few minutes, 2 minutes or so. Just one issue I think that the time will allow me to. We saw you playing Rambo not too long ago, confronting armed policemen who some people said had come to do a legitimate duty, arrest somebody who they thought had infringed on the law, and here you are obstructing justice, as it were. Can you summarize all of this?
I have decided not to talk about that, but that tells you it's unfortunate in this country. Very unfortunate. I said I took oath of office to protect life and property of Rivers people and those who do business in Rivers State and those who reside in Rivers State. Now, under normal circumstances, a lady, you know the abductions take place here and there. You don't even know who. You know the lady's house. You cannot extend invitation to her to come to the police, and then she refuses. 4 a.m. Anna stormed a lady's house. She's not in my party. She did not support me to win election. So I could, on the basis of that. But I'm talking about governance now. I don't do with party. That day I was to leave for Lagos. Somehow the appointment was cancelled. Now, she had called my wife. My wife's phone was off. Then when my wife woke up around 7, 8 to prepare to go to court, she opened her phone and saw missed calls from her and then called back. So what's the problem? She said, and men have taken over. They say they're policemen. What's the problem? So she doesn't know. It's okay. And she was to go that day to testify
in Abuja,
the panel, the House of Reps in Abuja. So I didn't know where she lived. So I asked my wife, asked her, where's the address? The address is just at the Bank of Government House there. Now, tell me, with the kind of kidnapping that's taking place today in the country, with the kind of abduction, assuming I did not go that day and she was taken and killed, who will come out to say there are policemen that came to arrest her? And when I said, do you have the warrant of arrest? No. Do you have any invitation for her? No. So how can you do this? I said, we are not in a banana republic. Enough is enough of this kind of things. So I said, okay, I'll have to protect her. If I you know, the idea, you know, is so terrible. How we have gone too low. The idea told the CCP to block a whole governor. To block a governor. And do you know what would have happened that day? That's the level we are now. How low we have come. I asked the CP. Initially, he told me what that way. Later, they now started recanting. So I have told people I don't want to discuss about it. All I've known, I've performed my duty as required to protect life and property. I did not trust those who came to be police people. I did not trust them because CP has already told me no. In fact, Later, the CBI came. So they said that the petition against youth service. I said, what is that? But you say you did not know. How come you not knew? We'll tell how many minutes. How come? I don't want to begin to do as if I'm quarreling with police. But see, people should do things the way civilized countries do things, conduct their affairs.
So no regrets on your actions?
I can never have a regret on that. Forget about what people, anybody, oh, they will do this to you, they will shoot you, they kill you. Look, I've told everybody. There are people who were, Dana Airline, when they crashed in Lagos, they were people were in their homes. They never bought tickets to fly Dana. They never committed any offense against Dana. The plane crashed on them, in their house, they died. So who is afraid of that? Any time that can come. If it is that way, they have planned to shoot me and die, okay. That's what God wants it. But to threaten me, intimidate me, that you will kill me, no. I mean, we can't continue with that. I am not part of that.
All right, Your Excellency, we just have to leave it here. Unfortunately, we couldn't talk about the developmental giant strides in Rivers. Maybe our next series, we may be able to just...
I've told you to invite your colleagues to come and see what we're doing. It's a serious matter.
We are working on it.
Okay, I hope so. I hope so.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for allowing us once again to breach the peace of the government house in Port Harcourt. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
For the past 2 hours or so, we've been on our edition of special interview series, and as you can see, the chief host today has been the Executive Governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Chief Jason Wike. Thank you for investing your time with us. Don't go away, because up next on top of the hour is AIT Reports. My name is Benga Arulema.